Yeah, so Manchester United won their match against Fulham yesterday, of course, in the Premier League. That game ended 3-2, courtesy of goals from Benjamin Sesko. Of course, he scored the last goal in that very crucial encounter, and of course, Konya, who is currently on top of his game, also got a goal in that match, and then of course Casemiro, who got the first goal in the game. As at 80 something minutes, I don't remember the exact number of minutes, the game was 2-2. Of course, Manchester United led 2-0. Before you knew what was happening, these guys came back and then they equalized and it was 2-2. And some of us were already giving up. I don't know if you watched that match, but if you did, you can really tell that about Fulham, they always give Manchester United tough time. But thank God, it ended 3-2 in favor of Manchester United, and that takes the club back into the top four, with a total of 41 points. Yeah, so just before that game, I had a conversation with the Chelsea fan, and she was really praying, she was hopeful that Manchester United was going to lose that game so they can sort of solidify their place in the top four. Before Manchester United's match, Chelsea was in the top four position, after they beat West Ham. I think that game ended 3-2 some days ago. Yeah, so she was really hopeful and was willing and praying seriously that Manchester United would lose that game, because she felt like Fulham is always giving Manchester United tough time. But I told her that it was going to be a different experience, because this is an entirely new administration. It wasn't the days of Amorim, so there was nothing to be afraid of. And the boys didn't disappoint. And recently, since Michael Carrick took charge of that team, everybody has been on top of their game. I mean, I can hardly point to one player who hasn't really been impressive so far. I mean, this is including those who till now used to, really mess up. All right, Kobe, you saw the game yesterday. He was really putting pressure. So he is no longer the Kobe we used to know, that often is just too relaxed. After the match, I had another conversation with her to, of course, let her know what happened, just in case she didn't watch the match. And then I don't want to call her name. And then she was like, come on, I hate Michael Carrick. And I was like, why? You understand? Why do you hate him? Is it because he is simply doing his job? So it really tells me that there are many people who do not want Manchester United as a club to succeed. And it's really sad. And this is including Chelsea and Arsenal fans. I don't know about Manchester City, but it's not fair. I mean, why the hatred, for Manchester United? Since Michael Carrick took charge, I mean, it's been a lot of improvements, and so far they've won 3 matches, 3 of 3, that's 9 points. Of course, first against Man City, and then second against Arsenal, and then of course now against Fulham. Of course, we wait to see what happens, and there've been arguments, conversations around whether Michael Carrick, deserves that coaching position, whether he should be given a permanent deal. Personally, I feel like he needs to be given a permanent deal, even though it's too early to just conclude. But I mean, there's one very important thing he has done since assuming position as the head coach of the club, and that's sort of bringing the players together. That's sort of, encouraging them and letting them know that, okay, this is Manchester United and you can do this. You can take us back to the days when we used to win a lot of trophies, the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, the days when you don't give up till the final whistle is blown. I mean, he's successfully built a very strong relationship with these players. You can tell that they are happy and they're excited with his style of play. You can tell that, and of course, he's really, letting these players play in their natural position. And that's, one thing that the former administration, that's talking about Amorim, didn't do. He was trying to play these guys out of their positions, and you could tell that they were not happy, even though, of course, there were times when they won games, but you could still tell, from the dispositions that these guys were not satisfied. Yeah, so far, Michael Carrick has really built that very solid relationship with him. So personally, I feel like he should be given the job, but of course, it would be nice, for the club management to wait till the end of the season. And then I feel like there's something we're not really talking about so much, and that's the fact that Michael Carrick has one of the strongest backroom staff I can't remember all of their names, but I know that you have the likes of I think Gareth Southgate, who is of course the former coach of England, as part of his backroom staff. And then you have there's this particular assistant manager. He worked with he worked with Mourinho, he worked with quite a number of coaches, who sort of achieved victory at various clubs. Yeah, so we don't talk about these guys a lot, and I can tell you that they are really doing a lot, behind closed doors to see that the club really succeeds. Yeah, so we wait to see what happens. There are about 13 or 14 matches to go, and I was also discussing with a friend. I said that with the way the season is going, the Premier League table is very much open to everyone. Of course, currently Arsenal leads with a total of 6 points. Manchester City comes in the second position, and then you have Aston Villa, and then you have Manchester United, and then Chelsea in the fifth position. So the table is really open for grabs. Anybody, any club at all. And that's talking about these 5 clubs that I mentioned now. Formerly we used to think it was going to be Arsenal, because they had a very impressive run of games. They were winning games, but after that loss against Manchester United and then a draw on Monday, I can't realize it's open to everybody. Manchester United can win the trophy tomorrow. I know some of you will be laughing at me and saying it's not true, but 6 points is just 2 games. So if Arsenal messes up, if Man City had won yesterday, it would have been around maybe 4, or it would have been 3 points rather. You understand? So it's very much open. Any club can just win the trophy as it is. Yeah, so all of them just need to be serious. At the end of the day, it's going to be the club that is showing enough seriousness, that would finally win the trophy. I had a friend, of course, an Arsenal fan, who was saying that the club is ending another week on top of the table, and in my mind I'm like, it's okay, but it would really be sad if you keep being on top of the table, and then towards the end you begin to mess up, and then you end up not winning the trophy. It would really be sad, as much as I want Arsenal to win, of course, because I can't even remember the last time they won a trophy. It's very much open to everybody. So just share your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think Michael Carrick deserves to be given the coaching position rather on permanent basis, or do you think that he needs more time to really prove himself, and of course to convince the management that he's deserving of the job, given what he has also shown so far? What's your impression about Manchester United's performance so far? Do you see us returning to the days of Sir Alex Ferguson? Because what we saw yesterday, Benjamin Sesko's last goal, was really crazy. Some of us had already given up and said, okay, it was going to end in a draw. But before you knew what was happening, Sesko got that goal, and then it was crazy. So do you see the club returning to the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, when the players didn't give up till the last whistle was blown? Just share your thoughts on the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. As always, bye for now.